the spinning as well. That's basically adjustable handles on either side. So with the Baitcaster reels, they're a little more high tech. If you can manage a Baitcaster, you can manage to cast any reel that lands in your hand, basically. What's up, guys? So I wanted to show you guys some of my favorite reels that I like to use when I go out. Doesn't matter if it's spinning or bait casting. I love using my Baitcasters when you have them dialed in for casting, and the drag setup, they feel amazing. Okay, so I honestly don't think that there's a difference in casting wise. I personally think that spinning reels, if you have the right rod and right line, you could cast a really far distance, even on a smaller, shorter rod. So the difference between these two is clearly one of them's bigger than the other. This is a spinning rod, this is the Crixus, and I love this thing. This thing has been really good to me, pulling in flatheads. So let's start off with the spinning reel. Spinning reel, you have your adjustable little backwards, forwards, drag setup at the top. So if your drag's not tight enough, you're gonna get that clicking noise, which everybody likes, but doesn't mean that you're gonna land the fish. With the spinning as well, that's basically adjustable handles on either sides, and that's about it for the spinning reels. So with the Baitcaster reels, they're a little more high tech. So if you can manage a Baitcaster, you can manage to cast any reel that lands in your hand, basically. So you have your clicker, you have your cast adjusting knob, your drag setup, your brake setup, and these are the ones that everybody likes to hear the clickers on. Whether you turn it on or off, reeling in, casting, doesn't matter. You can do that. I like to turn it off because I don't like to annoy everybody with the clicking unless I leave my rod. If I leave my rod, people will tend to adjust their drag setup, and when they get that fish, they'll grab their reel and they'll try to tighten it down a little bit, and before you know it, you can miss a fish potentially. Me personally, I have everything set up the way I like it, and I'll pop my bail, clickers on. There's your clicker. So when a fish takes it, I'll lock it down, and I'll let the circle hooks do the rest when I catfish. The downfall about bait casting reels is you can't fit as much line on it unless you're going braid, and if you are a beginner, I do not recommend using braid, because when you get this all tangled up, you're gonna want to go home after that. With spinning, you could put a whole bunch of line on it. You could put line on it all the way to the rim and not worry about it. So when you put too much line on it, it'll start hitting the bail and start making some funny noises. So I have about 120 yards on this one. It's a 50-pound mono, and yeah, that seems like like I could only put that much because it was gonna hit the bail when reeling it in or casting it. I don't like messing around with that stuff. So you don't really have to cast far when you're on the bank or on the boat when you're fishing. If you're on the boat, you go to the location. If you're on the bank, you know, majority of the time the fish are coming up shallow to eat all the smaller panfish and minnows and everything else. That's basically it that I have for these two reels. I also have KastKing heavy action bumping rod. This has been my lucky rod all year, and I love it. It's super light, feels good, feels great with the Baitcaster. Now there is two different rods. You have a casting and a spinning rod. Difference is the guides are facing upwards on a Baitcaster. You got the trigger finger right here, so basically fits pretty comfortable when you're fighting the fish. Spinning, guides are facing down, reels facing down. That's about it. So overall, if you're looking for any kind of bait casting reel, you know, this is the Rover 60. Rover 50 just came in today, and it is slightly a little shorter. So the sizes that you do is on all of them you got basically 40, 50, 60, and then on the other reels you have the 6,000s, 7,000s, 8,000s, you know, and basically that's the size of the spool. It gets a little shorter, so you won't be able to fit as much line on them. Hopefully that helped you guys out, and well, I'll see you next time.